morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. We welcome you to the latest episode of Channel Champions. Today, I'm so delighted that I have someone who is not just a great brand builder and a channel engagement expert, but also a dear friend. I have got Mr. Vishal Sharma to us. Welcome, Vishal.
Thank you.
So, as many of you might know, that Vishal is, come with a very hefty experience in channel distribution-led partnerships, engagement, sales enablement, tech enablement. As we all know that in the last career, recent one, he was with Sleepwell as a head of marketing, and before that he led multiple things at Samsung, and before that he was the one who launched Aircel brand in the country. Today we will learn from him about how the channel engagement is important, how tech enablement is now changing the way an entire ecosystem, and also some of the secret sauce that he has learned and also taught many of us. So Vishal, welcome to Channel Champions.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy that you are here. What I want to start today, instead of starting something professional, tell us about your journey to where you are right now. And though I know a lot of things about our interactions before, but it would be great to know what made you to the Vishal Sharma. So welcome.
Thank you, Abhinav, for inviting me for such a great initiative. I think this initiative, Channel Champion, is a need of the hour in that sense, much required. So coming to my journey, I started my journey in a very small way. I started at state level, which I in hindsight, it served me well. So I graduated from a state level to a regional level experience to a national level experience, and now engaged in a little bit of own business. So it's been a very gradual and engaging journey, which was also fulfilling in the way. I started with Bharti Airtel at a state level in Delhi. Built up the brand, launched the brand, then took it national. Okay, so as part of the journey where Bharti went national.
Nice.
In that role, I would say fortunate enough to be pushed by my boss. I did marketing, I did sales, I also handled a channel. So there used to be DSA channel.
DSA channel, yes.
So I handled that also. So that proved to be a very significant learning, in my career progression. Because when you are purely a salesperson or a channel person, then your learning is not complete.
True.
When you handle all three, you can relate how each decision in each of a vertical affects the other and how it drives the business, and ultimately how you serve the customer. From there, I went on to many jobs. I've worked with Reliance, with Bharti Airtel. Then I joined the mobile store, which is an SR company at a regional level as a head of marketing. I rolled out their stores across North India. I also learned how channel is sustained through through ROIs, because whenever you engage channel, you have to have inbuilt ROIs, otherwise the entire business collapses. Then on to other brands in ASL, I was part of the national team which rolled out the brand across India.
Wow.
From there, I moved on to Samsung, which is a great channel company. I mean, it's a champion of channel companies, if you really ask me. Those are the companies which are absolutely laser focused on channel engagement. True to the form, because one of the advantages those companies derive, and they are the leaders in the field, is because how they treat the channel.
Nice.
And not just the customer. So they treat the channel like a customer, and the dedicated teams and programs where they engage the channel as a customer. And then on to Sleepwell, where again, being a medium-sized company, I closely interacted with all the channel partners, and all these companies are multi-layered channels, through distributors and additional distributors, and then stockists, and then stores, and so on and so forth. So it's a multi-layered channel that these companies engage in, including online these days, and each has its own nuances, and you have to learn how to deal with it.
Wow. Yes, I think very interesting, because you rightly mentioned that while there can be a lot of customer-focused companies, but companies which are focused on channel clearly differentiates themselves. And that's why we say, as I was speaking to you before as well, happier channel partners, healthier bottom line. Right? Eventually, because you end up spending less money to engage with channel partners, and they still give you a lot of opportunities to create better revenue and streams for you. So, in your language, if I have to ask you, what is channel management and channel engagement? And I think because you already talked about Samsung channel champions, what are some of those things which you will define, okay, this is how we differentiate channel engagement versus many others? So, any thoughts?
So, see, why channel engagement in the first place? So all companies these days, and since we've entered our careers and jobs, and all these companies that we engage with, you'll always hear customers first, customer is the king. But who's the customer? Channel also a customer. Okay, and it's a foundational customer. Brands cannot be built without this foundation. So if the foundation has to be extremely strong. Today, obviously, the channel earlier, the traditional channel used to be your stockist, the distributor, and the stores. Today, online is the other dimension which has been added, and there could be other things like affiliates, influencers, and so on and so forth. So there are multiple layers of channels. Why engage them? Because, you treat your channel like an extension part of your business. It's an extension of your business, like you treat your sales team and your distributor teams and your marketing teams. Channel is just an extension of them in a different form. Could you mistreat your employee? Your company will not survive. True. Similarly, you have to engage your channel like an employee. Because a channel, let's examine what does a channel get on board for a brand. So a channel gets multiple things on board. One is reach, distribution reach is what you get through a channel. And no company overnight can have a massive reach on the direct sales model. The channel is what brings it on. Channel brings on finances. Sometimes your company model gets financed by the channel.
True.
So it's very interesting. A typical levers distributor or a Samsung distributor. Let's not take names. Let's talk categories. Automobile. The channel contributes a lot, invests a lot in your products and services and the way you have to serve. Then what else? Channel brings distribution, reach, finances, his network. A network of a FMCG distributor is massive. If you have to compete with the Amazon online in an offline manner, you would often have to go through one of these channels.
True.
Because building your own stores is a prohibitively expensive exercise, and it's a very slow exercise. Whereas already established channel of a different company, if you get it on board, gives you very extensive reach on day one. So there are multiple benefits that a channel brings on board, and even direct channels. Look at paint companies or insurance companies. They have direct channels. They have painters or carpenters on board. Insurance companies have direct selling agents on board. That's a channel. Now, with these channels, if you don't engage with them on a constant basis, they are like an extension of a sales and distribution team.
True.
So you of course engage with them in various ways. Let me give you some examples. Right? Let's take two different categories. One, we can take Asian Paints. Okay, direct selling model where through their painters they have one of the most successful programs in a direct selling model. Look at how the channel is engaged. There are dedicated program managers, there are dedicated agencies handling them. There are R&R programs, incentive programs built in for them, and education programs built in for them. Because often the customer you cannot educate directly. Channel also serves as a face of the brand and also educates the customer what is new in terms of your products, your services, and processes sometimes. You cannot sometimes reach out to the customer in that sense. So all the advantages that come into engaging a channel is all these. Let's look at some other category. Let's look at an automobile company. Let's say Maruti. Maruti has two channels today, other than the non-finance vertical. So they have two showrooms for others to understand. There is Arena and the Nexa. Now if Maruti has to upgrade and start selling in a 10+ lakh category, the Nexa had to come in and it had to be born. Why? Because the engagement level, the experience level of a customer, the expectation level of a customer, and the product that you want is completely different from a Arena. If you get on all of this into what you want to sell to the customer? Can you directly deliver all these to the customers? The channel is the person or the intermediary through which you service the customer and all these things. So yeah, I think we can go to the next question.
So when we were speaking before the show and you gave the example of FMCG company, their distributors are used by a telecom company. I think those are very interesting examples.
So for example, when I was in Airtel long time back, all telecom companies do that. So Amazon, Flipkart had not come in, you could go offline. Let's talk of Samsung also. We combine both. Okay, let's take examples of both. So Airtel or Vodafone, if you had to go big, what they had to do, they surveyed around, they said, yeah, SIM card has to reach to the last mile of the customer.
Correct.
And what is last mile in India? It is not even me. It is the Gaon of India, where a Campa Cola bottle can be found, where a matchstick can be found, a BD can be found. That's the depth of channel penetration we go to. Now, who is the guy who's servicing that channel? How do you think a matchstick reaches the last Banwadi of a Gaon? Through an FMCG distributor, through a levers distributor, through a PNG distributor. They have the biggest channel penetration in India. So if a Vodafone Airtel has to appoint a channel, it's most logical thing to go to that one distributor, appoint him as your distributor, and he has already the long tail through which he can make a SIM reach the last mile. And that is how you kind of penetrate into deep into the hinterland. Let's look at some other case, Samsung. Okay, now Samsung is a great company. It's built on marketing, sales, and distribution, and of course, brand. But when it was, so about 5 years, 6 years back, when OnePlus came in, okay, the first time Amazon as a platform being used, Flipkart as a platform being used to overturn the channel advantage of a big company on its head. Okay, so Flipkart or Amazon pin code, 19,000 pin codes in India can give you the advantage of reach day one, which a company will take 10 years to build through a traditional channel. How do you overcome that? So companies like Samsung, of course, studied that. Of course, you have to participate in that game, which is online, offline. And when you start doing that, various challenges come up because your offline distributor will now see you pushing the sales online. So these companies are the true channel champions, I would say, who learn how to balance between an offline and online channel while serving the customer at a price point which is, different price points, different product levels. So typically these companies go into hybrid ways. They build different products, differentiated products and differentiated brands with different pricing for the online channel, which is not available offline. And the offline channel is treated in a different way. And of course, there's Omni now, where you provide that to both. And that is how the customers also kind of come to experience and expect things from you as a brand.
So, as you said, that India is a very price-sensitive market, okay? And it's needless to say that whether it's a channel or whether it's a customer, end of the day, both of them are the customer for brands. And then when we talk about price sensitivity, what differentiates the brand is their storytelling. Because absolutely, if it's the same thing with the same price, we will look at, okay, which story is, the more we care about is more compelling. Do you think in channel engagement as well, brands have to play with storytelling of how they are helping or connecting their channel partners and then eventually turning them to a true influencers of the brand, right? So are there any examples you can think of or probably some insights that you can share?
So yes, there are multiple examples. Actually, all successful companies have to do that. Let's talk of again Nexa. There are 2-3 type of stories that you can tell. You can integrate the channel or the last mile into your story. Nexa is that story. Okay, Nexa is a service. Nexa is an experience. Nexa is a product. So there are certain models of Maruti which only come in the Nexa.
Correct.
But how could you sell them without the experience? Otherwise, 16 lakh rupee Grand Vitara would be equated with a cheap car.
True.
You cannot sell it without experience. Nexa as a showroom, which is owned by a channel partner, is part of the story because you have to give exclusivity to the customer, both the product and services, and the way he's treated inside the showroom as a last mile. So Nexa as a showroom becomes a space through which that becomes the face of a story, and that's how the brand story is integrated through a living entity, which is Nexa, the showroom.
The showroom.
Yes, that is where the experience will happen. The magic experience will happen. Otherwise, the products will not sell. Let's talk of some other brand. Meesho is a great example of offline. Meesho showcases its shopkeepers and the pain points of a shopkeeper and how Meesho helps them overcome them through the Meesho services. So if you look at Meesho ads, there'll be shopkeepers and not some celebrities in the ads. So they have, because the customer is the shopkeeper, they've engaged and put his pain points and his story into their communication.
Correct.
Right? You can think of some other examples. Let's talk of Pidilite and Asian Paints only. We spoke earlier also.
Like the best ones.
Yes, best examples. If you all remember the Carpenter ads, we all remember the. So why do you think the brand integrated and put Carpenter as an intermediary between the company and its product and the customer? Why? Because the biggest selling point is the carpenter. He is the guy who's selling a product.
True.
The customer trusts him more than the brand in the initial stages. I trust my local known carpenter to touch my furniture more than the company.
True.
Right? So you have to showcase the skills. Company not only sells products but also provides them training, and the brand will provide the credibility or the brand, I would say, credibility and assurance that this guy has been trained by me, is powered by me in terms of my products and services. But since you know him, he is the guy who will service you and not the company directly. So that is a couple of ways how you integrate the brand storytelling into the channel. What else?
No, I think that's a very good example.
Yeah.
So
Now let's talk about, because for example you talked about nano influencers. We call them nano influencers for a minute. Carpenters, painters, mechanics. Retailer probably is a bigger one, but they also influence the product. So if I go to a pan wala and I ask, can I have a Coke? But he says, no, Coke is not there. Can I give you Pepsi? I'll probably blink and then say, okay, give me Pepsi because I am thirsty, right?
Absolutely.
So they are also influencer. And their feedback is very important for brand, whether they launch a new product or ongoing processes and all of that. But what I've seen is that so far this entire feedback mechanism was very, old style, conventional. So they used to have these salespeople, and with full due respect to them, they visit them, they take some feedback, but only a filtered feedback goes to the next level. Because some of those feedback are actually for them, not for the next level. Then the sales regional head, probably they will also filter some feedback. So eventually the top management or the leadership, which actually can take some actions, gets very little to know about what's happening. Now, fast forward after COVID, I think because of the digital applications and platforms like Channelverse, as I was speaking to you, these things have become more streamlined, mainline. So a retailer can give instant feedback to the top shots who are managing the channel and say, hey, this is not working. And probably, in fact, one of the brands, without taking a name, I just recall the example. They have started saying that now when we want to launch a scheme for next month, we are taking feedback on schemes from my channel partner and saying, hey, do you think this kind of schemes would work in the market? Because you are the regional distributor or you are the last mile in that sense. These kind of things have started to happen. Do you think it's actually in the right direction, or do you think that brands should continue to do the way how they used to do, or probably if there is a hybrid way of doing this? Because the reason why I'm asking this question, and because you come from the ground yourself, I've seen you in the shops visiting and checking stuff out there, probably some of them together as well, is because sales schemes and promotions are
tools are used to drive all these, not just one tool. For example, if your car is serviced by any of these companies, let's say Hyundai, immediately post the service, you'll get a call from the company, how was the service, and they'll start asking you to rank on service. Just try it out next time. They actually are capturing the NPS, Net Promoter Score at the back.
Correct.
Okay. If you say the supervisor is not nice, or this immediately within half an hour that feedback goes to the channel partner and the supervisor will call you. They will even offer to pick up your car
Correct.
and services again. All that. What is that? That's channel engagement.
Correct.
Second level is companies like where the direct sales agents like insurance or like Asian Paints. They have carpenters. There, the informal system of gathering, formal and informal both. You have your training sessions. Post those training sessions, there are feedback sessions, and the channel partner can directly give a feedback. So sometimes there's a tiered level of channel. There's a distributor, there's the additional distributor, there's the showroom guy, and maybe a guy below it. How do you take the feedback of the distributor from the guy below him? The channel can also become the reference point to the channel above him.
True.
Because I don't know how an area distributor is performing unless the 400 showrooms below him
True.
start giving me direct feedback.
True.
Similarly, sometimes the distributor will tell him that these big dealers are not performing well because of these things. So you have to have sessions. Thirdly, like companies, of course, with dealers and distributors engage with you, on level where you have events and activations and parties for them. Why do you think that happens? Why do companies spend lakhs and crores on those?
Crores of rupees.
Because somebody like me will be present in those parties where, under a relaxed atmosphere over a drink, you're taking direct feedback from the channel partners.
Feedback
and they
is
will,
one of the core
yes,
areas.
you have to listen to them. And as you very, very rightly said, a channel partner sometimes will, try, I would not say mislead, because he also has a customer interest in mind, but he's a businessman.
Correct.
At a micro level, he's a businessman. He will always try to extract the best for his business out of the company. So as a channel head, as a marketer, as a sales head, as a person who's leading the business, you have to learn to filter these advices and inputs. And against what? Against always a filter of, is it good for the organization and good for the customer?
True.
You have to apply those two filters. If something is coming in as a suggestion, it could not necessarily be about incentives, only it could be improving a process or a product or something else that you do on a daily basis to engage with the channel. If it's a process change, if it smoothens everybody's lives, 5 steps can be made into 2, great. It helps your customer also eventually.
True.
If it is about his incentives, you always have to filter it against or put a filter that how does it help my customer? Because ultimately you are more responsible to the customer. Also looking at the fact that how does it affect your business case? There's a bottom end to the business. Anything that he demands cannot be affecting the business. It has to be a healthy business both sides.
True.
And the accountability or the responsibility of doing that falls on the organization and not on the channel.
Absolutely.
You have chosen the channel has not chosen you. So ultimately you are the one who's doing the balancing act always.
Always.
So those are the few things that I have to share.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think one more thing while you were explaining these details, very insightful. I also thought about something, how these things can be done slightly more better. We were talking about AI, ChatGPT, and all of those sort of things. So where I see this happening, that soon, or probably it's already happening. Like one of the features of our platform is to get instant feedback through various platforms like WhatsApp, etc. Where we are seeing is that now, because a lot of data about these channel engagements that the brands offer to their channel partners will be available through the platforms like us. With AI, there is a larger possibility or bigger possibility that things will be even more quick to figure out if it's a robot or if it's true. If it's true, is it really helping the brand or it is not? So where do you see possibility of AI or tech enablement in whether it's IoT or AR or AI or metaverse in that say, have the capacity or capability to probability to impact the channel engagement in larger way than ever before? If you see any possibilities.
So good that you thought of this. Actually, it's what is happening. It's disrupting the channel. So very rightly,
Disrupting.
you picked it very rightly. And most people think that AI or tech enablement let's use the word tech enablement, AI will fall under it
Correct.
only. The larger tech enablement can only be done by big companies who have big budgets. Actually, if you see, it's applicable to both. The very small guy doesn't have big budgets, but can bypass a lot of systems just through a tech enablement.
I will just interject here. You would notice that many AI tools
Yes.
are right now free,
Yeah.
including ChatGPT older version. The newer version is like a couple of dollars or probably a few dollars in a month. Many tools, generative AI text tools, or available for free of cost. It's just matter of who does the R&D and creates a solution
Yes.
for doing that. I was speaking to a dear friend who is the CFO in one of the large mutual fund NBFC sort of companies, and he said that the way how companies are looking at it is that how can I use AI for analytics in such a way so that it helps me take faster and better decisions, which probably used to take months or years before how AI generation got in.
So, yeah, and I would add to that, most people have this fear that AI will replace a couple of people. It's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
AI will help if the people who start using AI the right way, they will replace the people who don't use AI.
True.
That's the truth of the
True.
moment. But let's talk of tech enablement. Let's look at an example, and I'll give an AI example. Today, for any retail guy, retail organization, if website, where is the customer going, where is he lingering, what part of what he's reading, all that. Now, same apply to a physical store offline. I can easily today put up a AI camera in a store. Earlier, traditional way, the footfall used to be counted by the guard outside, or reported by the showroom himself, or the sales guy, all of who have an incentive to under-report their footfalls. Okay, and then this has an element of human error into it, right? So big companies,
Or
Samsung,
cooking up the data.
or cooking up the data because your incentives are directly linked to it. Also, the sales pressure is directly linked to it. But companies generally are not just looking at authentic footfall data or the kind of footfall which is entering, not just because of sales, but also to have that data to input into your product, services, and the way you actually service a customer. So if I could put up and this is a real use case, I'll not take the brand here. If I could put up a AI enabled camera in the store which captures each footfall into the store, what AI does, it helps learn and eliminate the daily staff count, the sweeper or the cleaner or the stock guy or the all those guys who would come in on a daily basis. It recognizes faces. It also has intelligence built in that if 3 people are entering, that's 1 customer because you're entering in a group. All 3 are not a customer. It has the intelligence to find out if it's a male and female, and if you're selling a female-oriented product, the male is not counted as a customer, or the kid is not counted as a customer. So it's not cumulative ke 100 log aaye. It is 50 relevant log aaye, right? And this can be built on a day-to-day basis, month-to-month basis. Then you start looking at on long trends, seasonality starts appearing into that data. When do you think things happen? When you look at long trends, you start kind of mapping it backwards against your marketing inputs, marketing programs, schemes, sales schemes, promos, ads that you're running. And when you see the uptake through that AI generative data in all that, then you start connecting all the dots, and that's giving you the big picture.
Correct.
And this is how some of the ways now companies are using. But there are other ways, tech enablement at a very store level, or even at the Kiryana level, or even at other levels, where a lot of good companies are building their own systems, of course using some free tools to obviously SAP-based ordering system now have been existing for 20 odd years. But in terms of not just SAP, let's say look at Asian Paints, great example of a data disruptive company. It's not a paint company in my mind; it's a data-driven disruptive company. Yeah. I think the best example of how to drive a channel. The paint, the owner of the shop doesn't even know what paint he's ordering. The system automatically generates the data. The system knows in what season, in which month, what kind of color in what quantity will be consumed. So ASM of Asian Paints puts in the order in the morning to the factory directly, and they can cut the entire chain in between. Okay, so predictive analysis happened on what will be consumed in that shop, not just in the region, not in the city, at a particular shop. So the order is given to the factory. Now the factory will plan its backwards SKU planning and kitna maal khareedna hai, kitna entire ordering process. It doesn't waste money on stocking unnecessary stock. The truck loads, it goes to the dealer and it unloads. Dealer just checks the basic bill kitna maal hai and that's it. He doesn't even have to worry about कि कितने color का क्या माल आ गया, कितने liters में आ गया. And through this process, where other companies, the turnover ratio is 12 days. In 12 days, one paint box is sold. Asian Paint sells it every 4 hours. That's the power of tech enablement and there are other brands who are coming in with big budgets. You overnight cannot build this. This isn't built over years with data. Now data is the backbone. They've been collecting data since 1970s.
True, from the day
It's
one.
like 30-40 years of data and analytics over it. That's a massive tool to differentiate yourself from any other company. Other companies can bring in price of promotions, engagement, but you can't match this. Your channel just does not have to worry about what stock. And they can also put the lowest commission in the. So others give, let's say, 8 rupees a liter commission. Asian Paints will give 2.5 rupees, 3 liters rupees, because it can ensure that every 4 hours your shelf will get empty and I'll deliver another lot of paint to you. Just look at the data and how it helps the channel. So an Asian Paints dealer is absolutely loyal to you. He will not go anywhere because company might offer you 10 times the incentive. It cannot guarantee sales. Asian Paints can. Of course, through the brand pull, through the right products and pricing. But look at the tech enablement that entire channel goes through. So you've just tied the channel to yourself and made him absolutely loyal without any money being involved. Actually, incentives are low. That's the power of tech enablement as a channel.
Perfect.
I think this is such a fantastic example, and I'm just thinking how Asian Paints would be using the newer tools like ChatGPT, AI, and all of that. So imagine if someone is going to their website and searching about it, and they probably could there itself predict if this would be a customer or not, which location, which dealer he might go to, probably with a probability of 90% or something, and then they will get the color delivered before the customer goes there.
That's the next level.
And that's the next level. And what I feel, with the tech enablement or with AI or these kind of tools which are coming in picture, it's all possible.
Yes, absolutely.
It took probably 40 years or more than that for Asian Paints to generate that data, learn insights. But now the newer brands have the opportunity that all of this is actually available for them to use on the day one.
Yes.
And they could learn from it and probably enable their faster GTM and all of this can happen. That's the beauty of technology.
Agreed.
And you absolutely rightly mentioned that it's not AI that will replace, it's the people who are using AI effectively would do that. So that brings to a very interesting point here, which is genuineness and authenticity of the brand. Okay. So I've been seeing a lot of ads. Sorry about your last company for, let's say, Sleepwell. They have been selling, they are the leader in this category, but there are companies who have disrupted this market in the last 3-4 years completely. They are online, they don't even have stores, where we used to think that unless I go and I don't know if it's comfortable for me or not. Touch and feel to raha hi nahi. They are even going beyond and they are saying 100 days try out. Okay, I don't know, I had a colleague of mine and he said, sir, I am actually buying this bed because I just need to stay here for 2 months and then probably I'll return it. So I said, can someone even return the bed? So they said, yes, they are claiming that and I've done it. So that's how it's happening. So around all of this, while there is technology, there is brand story, there is channel, and of course marketing and all those claims that we as marketer do. How do, as a customer, seek who is authentic, what is genuine or what is not? And that would be, I think, the final, truth that we all would love to know from a marketer like yourself, and of course the sales enabler.
So again, a couple of layers into it. See, authentic brands now. So let's see what makes a brand authentic first, and then we'll come to how does it affect the channel engagement and brand overall. So a couple of things that make a brand authentic. One is brand promise kya hai. So Dove, an example. if it promises a woman that you'll have a soft skin. Okay, that's a core brand promise.
Correct.
Now things might change with a woman's lifestyle, with new technology coming. There might be dispensers, liquid dispensers. Tomorrow there might be mists and something. Anything can change. But if the core promise, if the brand deviates from the core promise, then boss, you're lost in life. Just because new things are coming doesn't mean you don't deliver on the core promise. You did not deviate from that. And that brings you to the second thing, which is consistency. You have to deliver on the promise consistently, day in, day out. That is what builds credibility. The day you start deviating from delivering it in a sustainable manner, or then you lose your credibility in the market. Third, today, let's look at innovation also. Now, again, you will say that Dove जैसा साबुन innovate क्या करेगा? And if you talk about brand consistency, उसको soft skin देना है तो innovation क्या है? Right? 50 साल, 100 साल से soft skin दे रहा है, तो innovation क्या करेगा? The innovation is in maybe packaging, maybe delivering it a new form factor. Maybe tomorrow we'll have now you have the shampoos. Maybe tomorrow there'll be misters. Maybe there's something else. So product innovation or service innovation or process innovation, depending on the different industry, you will keep on doing, because you have to keep on, you have to live the consumer's lifestyle. If it's changing, you also have to change. You have to be in step with the consumer's lifestyle. Last is, I think, simplicity. A lot of brands have, built in so much of complexity. If you're in the B2B space, it's okay, because the customer is a different customer. He will give the time and engagement to understand a complex product or service. But as a consumer, you have a fleeting moments of, as you gave the Coke example, if it's not available on a hot day and you're standing outside in the 45 degrees sun, you'll simply take Pepsi.
Yeah.
You will not care about much about,
True.
So loyalty in that sense is kind of finished. But what a brand delivers, if it can deliver it simply. Today you look at schemes of various companies. There'll be X and Y. You take this, then there'll be a star and 2 stars in the ad, and then there'll be, when you enter the showroom, there'll be this condition applies, that condition you have to buy minimum this much, all that. The more complexity you build into your, last mile consumer delivery, the more consumer distrusts you. So you have to keep it very simple, and these rules have been known by brands for years, but every time they still keep breaking these rules. And the winning brands in the market keep to these rules. That's the difference between winning brands and also ran brands, very frankly. Now, how does it translate to channel in a way? Let's talk about that also. Channel partners of all these successful brands believe in those. You have to be true to the channel also in what you deliver, his incentives, his R&R. A channel, while he might think of himself and his profits, is also thinking of the consumer. That way your goals are aligned, because he'll earn only when the company earns, or the company earns only when the channel earns, and both are earning from the consumer. Secondly, he also is worried about keeping up with the latest trends in the way consumer is changing. So he wants education, he wants tech enablement, he wants processes, training, systems, that's what he expects from a company, right? Now, that I also see as a authentic nature of a company, where the company delivers that consistently to a channel partner. If you are not doing all that, you're not investing in all that, only thinking of company bottom line, or the channel will leave in some time. A better guy will come along, deliver on all those things, and the channel will just simply walk away. So authenticity of brands, as I said, are built on pillars of, let's say, simplicity, innovation, consistency, and being true to your brand promise at all levels of delivery. So it is to the channel, to the customer, post-sales services, also the various channels that you employ today. I mean, you cannot be inconsistent. Let's say you're a certain type of service offline and a certain type of service online. Customers start retesting all that. So look at Lenskart, best example of a hybrid model or a omni-channel model. It will have consistent services online, offline, same offers running, similar kind of experience, similar kind of services, and then you become what Lenskart has become today.
True.
Fantastic. So Vishal, I think so practical examples that you have given. In fact, whether it's Lenskart example or Asian Paint, we all love them. And the channel champions, as you quoted, and continue to quote Samsung as a channel champion, because you have shared the inside stories, you have shared your personal, areas that you worked on, and some of those things are very interesting not just from the channel enablement per se, but for every marketer or every B2B company which is looking forward to grow their channel partners. And as we understand, I think it's absolutely important that channel partners need to be treated like a customers, not just partners. They are the customers eventually who create new customers for you. And making them happy is important. So as Aman's tagline is happier channel partners, healthier bottom line. I think we both agree to this. So thank you so much. It was great learning from you, okay, and getting the nuances of how this entire things work. And definitely your examples from your previous work were very amazing. And I'm sure that our audience will have an amazing time as well. So till then, I think, we'll catch up soon with a new channel leader who has been into the industry like what Vishal offered to us. Thank you so much, Vishal, for joining, and we'll look forward to connect again. Thank you so much. See you guys.